and I would want to make sure people know this location. And, I wouldn't want to keep it sacred and keep it secret, because if Sasquatch was truly healing people, then everyone should be able to experience that remarkable gift. Yeah. But that's me living in a realistic, rational mind. So that's not going to happen. It's all science fiction, sadly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is, what's interesting about that is that people are going to have to make their own mind up, and they have to be very critical about that, or super critical about people's claims. And, as far as those different things, it's not easy per se to judge these things, but you always have to be careful about anybody's claims that people make, because of the fact that it is someone's statement that they're going to make about that, and you cannot necessarily trust in the fact that these things are happening, because I mean, even he would say, I mean, let's take a look at Lourdes, for example, like the holy waters of Lourdes,
Is that Lourdes?
Or
how do you say it?
Lourdes in France?
I thought it was Lourdes.
Well,
I don't know. It's all Spanish to me.
Well, yeah. Well, in France. Okay, so let's say the holy water at I think it's Lourdes. Okay, but that millions of people go to Lourdes every year. And somebody,
faith-based.
Yeah,
faith-based.
Yeah, and some people have said, they've come away from that and that they've been healed by that. And so. The issue being is that, but, and Richard Dawkins, makes the case that whenever he did research, he said, well, there was one sort of documented case of a miraculous healing, and so, he said that, and if you take statistics, I have a degree in statistics too, so this makes me like uber nerd. But anyway, that realistically speaking, you would have experienced that if you would have just, not gone there.
Right.
But, and so these are the things that, are interesting. But I think that if you want to go to that location and experience something that's truly bizarre, and you get the opportunity to do that, go. I mean, go. But it's one of those things where, it's like I'm not at liberty to say what it is. But I will tell you this: if you want to come up here and want to do bizarre things, I was going to say do bizarre things in the woods with me, but we can.
Hey. What the wife doesn't know.
But all I'm saying,
what happens that's so hot stays that's so hot.
Well, what I'm saying is that there are other locations of places where strange things happen. I mean, Barb. Well, but
Kevin,
did you go out with Barb up here?
No, not yet. But I will make this announcement, a public announcement.
Yeah.
I will be moving to Oregon within the next 11 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I only moved to Las Vegas back in '98 to be with my parents, and now that they have passed on, there's nothing keeping me here in Vegas.
Right.
So I want to go where the Sasquatch people are, so I can experience the mind speak.
Well, that's
if it's true.
Well, isn't that good?
Yeah. So we're running out of time, and you mentioned at the beginning of this interview how I'm an artist and Bigfoot Bounty and a comedian. And there's something I wanted to tell you. By doing stand-up comedy, by making fun of the fact that I'm like the only gay Bigfooter out there.
Yes.
The general public, the people that live next door to you, that go to work, have their own lives, they don't know what the term Bigfooter is.
Right.
They don't even know what Bigfoot is. Be surprised how many times I have to explain Bigfoot's like an 8-foot tall monster, 800-pound beast. Picture Wendy Williams, which is part of my joke. Just they don't understand Bigfooters, so I have to say I'm a Bigfoot believer.
Yeah.
That goes against me saying I hate the term believer, but in order for the audience to understand where I'm coming from when I'm making jokes about Bigfoot, I have to really break it down for them. Because you and I and your listeners, we're so immersed in this Bigfoot culture. We know the idioms, we know all the acronyms, we know all the different slang terms for Bigfoot and Squatch. If I already, hey, do you guys know what a Squatch is? They wouldn't know. They'd have no clue.
Yeah.
And it's funny to take yourself out of the Bigfoot world and to do stand-up comedy and to see where, gee, we really are a pathetic subculture of humanity.
Right.
Nobody knows this. And granted, finding Bigfoot has given the term Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Squatch to the masses. However, it's not billions, just thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that would tune in and watch that show. And the population has no clue what Bigfoot's about. They think there's only one Bigfoot.
Yeah.
How is Bigfoot still alive if there's only one? Do you know how many times I hear that? I'm like, no, there's like a whole species foraging for food all across the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you're right. You're right in a certain amount of ways. We tend to think that what we do is the all important thing, and and so therefore. This is it. We develop our own little sub language, and we do these different types of things, and it is interesting because we do talk about these things, and I think there's a very good reason for that, because I'll tell you why. You've worked in the restaurant business. I've worked in the restaurant business. We've all been we've both been bartenders. I think, I don't know, but
yes.
But we develop our own little language so that it's an us and them. You know what I mean? And people who've been in service industries understand that what I'm talking about. So there's an us and them mentality. And so if you don't know the lingo, you don't go past this point. You know what I mean? And so we do that to ourselves. We do that to ourselves in the fact that we like to be able to use these terms that people don't have to, that the people don't necessarily get. And so if they have to ask, who's that?
Which is why I asked you earlier to explain to your audience what a mid-tarsal break is.
Right.
Because Joe Schmo just turning in right now, what the heck is a mid-tarsal break?
Yeah.
Is that some kind of fracture?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I saw had a sagittarial crest. Well, what's that? So we use these terms so freely with our own people. Doesn't even matter what side of the fence you're on. And it's like we're our own little cult. Like we're our own little clique.
Right.
Oh, you don't know what a Bigfooter is? You can't sit with us.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but they probably have better stories and are funnier, I just like hanging. I just I honestly go for the good times, and and then if something happens, then that's it. I tend to see that. I tend to see us as a group of people who, in general, take ourselves far too seriously. Right?
Yes. Oh my gosh!
And so if you
over Bigfoot,
I know.
Come on. There are other things out there that are far more important that demand our attention.
Yes.
Our country, regardless if you're a Republican or Democrat, our country's going in some crazy directions right now.
Yeah.
Granted, for a lot of people, though, Kevin, Bigfoot is an escape.
Yes, it is an escape.
A lot of Bigfooters I've met in my life are broken people. I'm not saying all of them are, but a lot of them are missing something, and they're finding it with others that share the same fascination. That's how groups are created.
Right.
Look at Star Trek fans. There are some Trekkies like you that kind of go above and beyond.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's but this is the way that life comes out, and I think that we have to be able to look at ourselves and say, hey, you know what, regardless of what side of the fence you're on, just think that 95% of the people, even if you're being very, very, very scientific about it, and from that standpoint, there's still a large amount of people in this country who thinks that it's a waste of your time, and so. And that's one of the things you have to bring the humor to it, and even if it is a waste of time, there's nothing wrong with going out in the woods and experiencing some different things. I've seen some really cool stuff out in the woods. I mean, I've seen a bears, I've seen deer, I've seen, a porcupine, which literally scared the crap. I mean,
right. There's so many positives that come with glorified camping, which is Bigfooting.
Yeah.
You learn about the environment, the animals. You're getting outside. You're in the outdoors, breathing in that fresh air. It's wonderful. Just be smart about it, people.
Right.
That's all I ask. I got to say, though, your listener, Samara, is very beautiful, and she's been chatting with me online here on your Night Dreams Facebook page. And Matt, who called in earlier, has been pretty awesome, too. So it's been great to talk to them.
Right. Well, we're almost, like I say, we're done. And Samara's my wife, by the way.
Is she?
Yes.
Well, then.
So there you go.
Hello there, Samara.
Yeah. So like I said, when you come up, we'll all hang out together.
That's right, Samara. You hold on to your husband's hand really tight.
Yeah.
Because once you let go, whoosh, I'll be there like an orb zapping through the forest.
Well, she knows she knows my old college roommates, and she knows that we would all get along like a house on fire. I'll just put it to you that way. But
I will say this, though, real quick before you end the show. In the 8 years I've been public with the world of Bigfoot, I have yet to have any kind of adult activities with any kind of a Bigfooter.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm a Bigfooter virgin in that regard.
Okay.
No one has visited my tent.
Well, we're going to keep it that way, at least whenever you go out with us. But I'll joke with you about it anyway.
With my luck, it'd be Matthew Johnson.
All right.
Richter, I want to talk to you.
Okay.
Oh, God. No, get out of my tent.
All right, my friend. On that note, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for talking to me, Richter.
It's been a blast.
All right, my friend. I'll talk to you later.
Good night.
Okay, so we've been talking to Richter on the show tonight, and one thing that I will say about it is let's all laugh at it. The paranormal is not always just scary, and it doesn't need to be. I mean, I've heard some paranormal stories about different things that are totally funny sometimes, and I think that we have to have some different perspectives on it. I mean, there are shows that everybody's going to have where there's going to be all, it's all doom and gloom, and we're all going to get eaten by aliens and stuff like that, and all kinds of different stuff like that. But there are stories where, you're out looking for Bigfoot and you fall in the river. I mean, like every time I've been out in the woods looking for Bigfoot, and if there's a river nearby, I'm like in the middle of it. It doesn't matter if I started 10 feet away, I seem to fall down into it and everything else. So, this was a little bit different show. And, from that standpoint, I do think a lot of things that Richter said were right on the money. I mean, we do have to really look at ourselves and say, hey, this is something that we do as a hobby, and we're interested in looking at it and everything like that, but let's all take it with a grain of salt and say, from a certain standpoint, we are, all human beings, and we all deserve to be good to each other. And, if you're out looking for Sasquatch and you see a UFO, like I said, that, I was listening to Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer before this, and, from listening to his show and what they want you to report to the UFO network, a lot of the things that I've experienced in the forest would be classified as something they want to hear about. Missing time, orbs, feeling of, all these different things. And so these are types of things where, data is not getting where it needs to go because we solely compartmentalize it, and we don't think about other people. So, let's all listen to each other and take it from there. So I'm really glad that Michael's on in front of me, and I'm enjoying doing the show. And Gary's on Monday through Friday, and he has his approach to it. So this is just one of those great things about the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network that, they're bringing on different points of view.